I can see him going into that July 4th possible. I mean, we're totally speculating here. A meeting with John Cena. I mean, if I'm totally jumping ahead. I mean, if assuming Jinder Mahal walks out of the pay-per-view and is there as champion July 4th, do you see John Cena taking a title from him? If that were the case, if that scenario plays out,
John Cena can take title from anybody. I mean, that's part of the reason why we don't like John Cena.
Do you think they would do that? I mean, do you think they'll play that card? Or I mean, what do you think? What do you
they
think
would make John
do?
Cena 100-time champion? I mean, they don't.
These legitimacies.
Do you think John Cena's killed all these legitimacies, making Great Khali legitimate, making Umaga legitimate, making Rusev legitimate? They put John Cena in to just kill all these people and bring him back to the mid card. I could easily see them having him beat Jinder Mahal, not even letting Jinder Mahal make it to SummerSlam before he's a mid carder again, and putting the title on John Cena as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going.
And that's not why I want to see John Cena. In fact, I don't want to see that in John Cena. I like John Cena not the champion because it gives you like that double main event every pay-per-view. It gives you that whatever John Cena matches in is probably pretty important. And then you have the other match that also has that importance.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to stay tuned. That's why WWE keeps bringing me in, man, every week. There's always something. They always put a little something on the bait, and you take it, and they take you for a ride, so to speak. So I'm curious to see how that plays out in the next handful of weeks.
So at Brandon's request, we're bringing back Watch This, because he must have something good for us to watch this week.
I do.
Watch This was a segment that we introduced, that something to watch for this week, whether it be on the WWE Network, YouTube, Netflix, anywhere you can find it, anywhere that you need to seek it out, it's available. And if he can watch it, you can watch it. And this is his Leonard Maltin pick of the week. What has he got for us?
All right, man. So it's obviously wrestling related. I actually watched it. I watched it over the weekend when the weather was crappy. I mean, we had beautiful weather this Memorial Weekend in Syracuse. I mean, it was beautiful. So I, much to my wife's chagrin, I put on Ready to Rumble. A little classic.
Why did I literally just think you were going to say that? Why did I literally just think you were going to say that?
I don't know. I mean, I love the movie. I've always. I mean, it's one of my favorite. Like, it's very. I guess you can say toilet humor. I guess is the best way to say it. But I love the movie. I mean, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, obviously they're not going to give you much of a rating. They give good movies bad ratings too. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, well, Ready to Rumble, why the hell would you watch that? As a wrestling fan, it's something you want to watch. I mean, you can see like the old superstars like Goldberg, Booker T. It's cool to see. I think it's cheesy, but it's fun to watch. I mean, on a rainy day like that, I'm like, you know what? Hour and 45 minutes. I think I can squeeze it in. So that's my Watch This. So you can find it all over the internet. You can find it on Amazon, all that stuff. You can do a lot of different things.
And obviously, Brandon, you're aware of its Syracuse connection. The movie. I mean, the movie doesn't. There's no scenes or anything filmed in the city of Syracuse, New York, but it's Syracuse connection. Obviously, with David Arquette as the star. So in order to hype up the movie, they brought David Arquette onto WCW television.
Yes.
And before you know it, in the War Memorial in Syracuse, New York, on a WCW Thursday Night Thunder taping, David Arquette became the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. It's kind of one of those weird things. It's awful that he became a world champion, but at the same time, I don't remember exactly every time Sting won the belt or every time that Ric Flair won the belt, but I remember exactly when David Arquette won the belt, and I'll never forget that. So it's got its pros and cons to it. If you were at that Thunder that night, you're like, David Arquette won the championship? That's awful. But at the same time, you were at a Thunder. I can't tell you what happened on any other Thunder ever.
Except for that.
Well,
so star power, man, I mean, I don't know what David Arquette's doing much for movies nowadays, but I mean, back in there, what was it? It came out in 2000, I think it was?
2000. That's when he became champion.
17 years.
That's when WCW
It's been that long?
went on the downswing.
Wow, it's been almost 20 years.
He won the belt on April 26, 2000. So it was probably a few months prior to that movie came out.
Yeah, when did that?
Speaking of the War Memorial, Onondaga County War Memorial in Syracuse, New York. Before David Arquette won the World Heavyweight Championship there, WWE hosted, obviously some Monday Night Raws, but going back even before some of those, a pretty big event, and it took place in the month of May. It took place actually on Mother's Day, the very first ever in your house pay-per-view, and that is going to be my watch this for the week. We had to come up with a watch this, so May 14th, 1995. It's on the network.
Great card, by the way.
The Onondaga County War Memorial. You got to see not one, but two matches from Bret Hart. He led off the show with a match against the guy who had the Chinese symbols all over his face, Hakushi. Then later in the night, you got to see Bret Hart take on Jerry the King Lawler. Owen Hart was on the card as well. He tagged up with Yokozuna. They were the tag team champions at the time. They took on Billy and Bart Gunn, the Smoking Guns.
Smoking Guns.
Viscera, a.k.a. Mabel, was on the card. Razor Ramon was on the card, taking on Jeff Jarrett and the Roadie, who then became the Road Dogg. The Undertaker was not on the card on television, but he did wrestle WWE Hall of Famer at the time, Kama, known as The Godfather, with Ted DiBiase. Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka were also on a dark match. Now those, The Undertaker, Kama, Bam Bam Bigelow, Tatanka, and the British Bulldog versus Owen Hart in a draw, as well as a Jean-Pierre Lafayette versus Bob Holly. Those are 4 matches that you can find only on the Coliseum home video of it. So I say go to the WWE Network to watch the 6-match card. Some of the matches I just mentioned, the championship match that was Diesel, the champion, defending against Psycho Sid.
I was going to say,
and where Diesel won by disqualification.
Diesel was on that.
But if you want to see any of the other matches, you're going to have to do more. The WWE Network, while you get a lot for $9.99, you're not getting these 4 matches, including The Undertaker wrestling against Kama. So I guess that's where eBay and the Coliseum Video nerd market, where you still want to collect all the old tapes, that's where this comes into effect, because there's 4 matches that you can only find.
And don't worry,
in fact, that British Bulldog Owen Hart match, that was a King of the Ring qualifying match.
And actually, and don't worry, folks. Jared is already on eBay purchasing it, so don't you worry.
I probably at one time actually owned it, and then as I became an adult, I think I liquidated a lot of my stuff, thinking. But
I would have kept it for the archives, man. Go back and watch.
If I was at the event, I had a few friends who actually attended the event, so if I was there, I might have kept it for the archive. You know what? If I can probably get myself on a nice Coliseum home video version of it without breaking the bank, I might do so. But
there we go.
Either way you watch it, it's Vince McMahon and Doc Hendricks, a.k.a. the Freebirds, on the mic for commentary. It's the first ever In Your House pay-per-view, and it's pretty much leads us up to what we're about to talk about, Extreme Rules. What is Extreme Rules? What is it referred to all us wrestling nerds out there? How do we refer to the pay-per-views that are bigger than the other pay-per-views? It's simple. We refer to the big 4, and we refer to the other as the In-Your-House pay-per-views.
Pretty much,
and this is an In-Your-House pay-per-view, and its main event is showing you it's an In-Your-House pay-per-view. The world title's not on the line. It's not Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. It's not The Rock and John Cena once in a lifetime. It's not even the championship in the building. It's just a #1 contender match, a fatal 5-way Extreme Rules match. The winner to take on Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire at the next pay-per-view, which is the July version of the In Your House pay-per-view. But let's start at the bottom of the card. Let's start at the kickoff show, as we're going to give you our match predictions. Apollo Crews versus Kalisto. Who you got and who cares?
Who cares? Yes. I'm going with Apollo Crews. I mean, you gotta expand the Titus brand a little bit. So I think Apollo Crews wins, and I think they're going to keep trying to build this Titus brand. So we will stay tuned for that.
I'm going to go with Apollo Crews as well. They've been trying to give a little bit of edge to Kalisto when he had that rivalry with Braun Strowman. But as I said, the brand of Apollo Crews, I still see that going up. Now, the second kickoff show match, I don't see why it's on the kickoff show. In fact, I don't feel it should be now anyways, and that's Goldust versus R-Truth. I don't think this match has got enough steam yet. I feel that this thing just kind of started.
Yeah, why are we starting this shot?
I would like to see this maybe on the main card at the next pay-per-view.
I am okay with it. Build it up more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 2 weeks ago is when this thing just started, and now we have a match? Like, no, this is Goldust has got some history in WWE. Give him his due to get his like last moment out there.
They only cut a couple of vignettes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I wouldn't even want to see this on the main card. It's on the kickoff show of all things. So hopefully maybe being on the kickoff show, it can kind of be like a throwaway and kind of just build up towards a better match at the next pay-per-view.
The more I think about it, that's where I think it goes. I think it goes no contest. I think it's one of those matches where or it's a not a clean finish one way or the other, and then one of them gets upset. And I would say if I'm going that direction, I say our truth. I think our truth I think he wins the match. I mean, where do you go? I mean, I like Goldust, but
I'm going to go no contest. Like you said, I don't feel...
I don't know, man.
I feel like R-Truth is going to show up, and then Goldust is going to be in his gold car like at WrestleMania 12 and driving around the streets of Baltimore, and they're going to do like another O.J. Simpson vignette or something. I just feel that this is way too soon, and I'm interested in seeing this. I'm not interested in seeing it yet.
Yeah,
and you don't have enough content. This isn't WrestleMania. This isn't like we have to like give you a cruiserweight championship match in the kickoff show.
Seeds.
Yeah, so much.
They just planted the seeds. Water it a little bit.
You have a pay-per-view that is solely just Raw competitors in a month. You're gonna need some people to be on that. Make this one of those matches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
We move on to the main show. Sasha Banks teaming up with Rick Swann and Alicia Fox with Noam Dar. Or how is it Noam Dar?
Noam Dar.
Noam Dar. That's I knew I was saying it wrong. That's why
obviously you don't
that's
watch
why
enough
I corrected myself.
That's why you don't watch it. I mean, you would know the name if you actually.
No, I see him on 205 Live.
That 205. No offense. I mean, when I'm watching Raw, if it's not Austin Aries or Neville, I don't really pay attention that much. That's more of my. All right, I'm gonna slowly fast forward to it and get to the end. Like this match here, Sasha Banks, Rich Swann, Alicia Fox, and Noam Dar. I don't care who wins, but I'll go if I have to. If you're making me choose, I'm going Rich Swann, Sasha Banks.
I'm going that way as well, and hopefully Sasha Banks by the next time we see her at a pay-per-view event can be back in the title picture.
Yeah, this is not where Sasha Banks needs to be.
No, this is weird to me. Sasha Banks, Alicia Fox, yeah, that's perfect for her, but it's weird to see Sasha Banks. Like in a mixed tag team match, that's a throwaway match. And this is Natalya 2 years ago. Yeah, Natalya Hart 2 years ago.
It's almost like a slap in the face to her, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because she's always been at least on the women's side. She's been one of the main event performers on that. So it's putting her there. It's got to put a bad taste in her mouth, don't you think?
And not yet, because I think they're not really doing it too much to her. But if it's SummerSlam, she's teaming up with Rich Swann and a kickoff show, then yeah,
she's gonna be really ticked off.
Now, this match is interesting. We've seen it too many times because 205 Live has no real depth. But Neville, the champion, defends against Austin Aries, this time, though, within a submission match for the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm kind of intrigued because I like submission matches. So we'll start with you, Brandon. Who you have in this match?
I think Double A gets it done, man. I think Austin Aries, I think he gets it done. I think he's going to win the title. He's going to use the Last Chancery, I think is the name of his maneuver. I think he pulls that off. He already shown that he had Neville tapped out on Monday Night Raw, so I do think that is a precursor to Neville getting tapped out once again at the pay-per-view, and I think finally Austin Aries will become our Cruiserweight champion.
I'm going to go that way as well. I mean, we've been saying it's about time like
for a little bit now.
for quite a little bit now, but this time I'm going to say, you got to pick somebody. I will pick Austin Aries. And if not, I hope he never wrestles for the Cruiserweight Championship ever again.
Fair point. I'm okay with that.
Now we move on to the Tag Team Championship. This one I'm very intrigued in because it's our first time getting to see the Hardy Boys. This time in their element. We saw them in the ladder match at WrestleMania, which is pretty cool. Now we get to see them in a steel cage match, and it just brings back memories of Jeff Hardy swantoning off the steel cage.
We're going to see that, I'm sure. We'll see that on the pay-per-view, I'm sure. You know how Jeff Hardy is.
This time, the champions, the Hardy Boys, defend their titles against Sheamus and Cesaro. The rivalry has been, I guess it's getting as hot as it can be. I mean, obviously everything is getting a little stale with a million Raws. But I would probably say it's still the most intriguing thing you can do in the tag team division. And it'll be this Sunday, the Tag Team Championship at Extreme Rules in Baltimore. The Hardy Boys, Sheamus and Cesaro. Do you see Sheamus and Cesaro beating the Hardy Boys?
I don't see them winning. I don't see the Hardy Boys losing the titles until at least SummerSlam. That's where I have it. I'm sticking to it. That's what I'm
taking. Sheamus and Cesaro. I see.
Really?
In my crystal ball, I see Jeff Hardy going for a swanton and moving out of the way, Sheamus or Cesaro, and accidentally maybe doing it on Matt Hardy, planting a little seed there, and then Sheamus and Cesaro becoming the tag team champions. I see that as your finish there.
I guess I will be watching the pay-per-view very closely then. And if you are right, I will definitely give you a shout-out on that one.
So the Intercontinental Championship will be on the line. No champion's advantage is what they've put towards this match. Dean Ambrose is the champion, taking on The Miz.
Why don't we just make this a no DQ match then? I mean, why does it have to be no champion's advantage? Just make it a no disqualification match. You know what I mean? Come on. Why do we have to word it this way?
Seems unique. Seems new.
What are they trying to?
I mean, all these matches, that's Extreme Rules. What do you think Extreme Rules, the pay-per-view is? What do you think this they're just